Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, September 22nd, 2016. I'm Keith Tebow. First day of fall. On this week's show, we delve into Mayor Correa's capital improvement plans. We also look at the resurrection of the Mayor's Youth Council. And we recap last week's South Coast Mini Maker Fair. But first, let's discuss the news topics of the week as we bring in over the phone this week Will Richmond, the Digital City News Editor for the Fall River Herald News. Hey, Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How are you doing?
Good. Somewhat of a busy week this week, mainly coming out of City Hall and things happening down at One Government Center. Let's start with an update on Windowgate. You guys at the Herald News posted a story earlier this morning. For those of you who do not remember, the issue of Windowgate is about 3 years old or so when 22 windows were replaced on the 6th floor of Government Center. There were questions about whether the project was sent out to bid in a proper manner. The windows were replaced under then Mayor Will Flanagan. And today, you guys are reporting an update in terms of a lawsuit in terms of the individual who installed the windows, losing a battle against the city in court. Fill us in.
Yes. So the son of Moses Raposa, who is the name that has sort of been most identified with as the person who installed the windows, but the son, Brian Raposa, who is a co-owner of Global Glass, had sued the city in an attempt to recoup $100,000 to pay for the costs related to installing the windows. That suit was dismissed by a Superior Court judge who determined that because there was no contract in place, there was no mechanism for repayment, basically because the project was not done properly in terms of procurement and contracting matters. The city was not on the hook for any payment, and so at this point it appears the city may have gotten the windows for free in terms of a monetary status. Mm-hmm. But we'll still see if they'll have to, if anyone related to the city will have to pay going forward in terms of the court process or legal process from the state end as it continues to be investigated by the Inspector General, it appears.
Right. The Inspector General is looking into the city in terms of the procurement process. As we mentioned, there was no contract signed, and there have been some complaints filed against the city that the city did not put this project out to bid in a proper manner. So that is before the Inspector General. Any update on that investigation?
At this point, no one related with the city had any info on where it stood. A spokesman for the Inspector General's office, as they traditionally do, did not comment on it. And they even go as far to say that they do not comment on whether they are or not investigating the matter. So, at this point, we've been told by people within the city government that the IG's office is looking into the matter and the procurement issues. So, from that end of it, we're being told the investigation is ongoing, and we await to see if the IG's office produces a report or anything else as this process moves forward.
All right, so we will continue to follow what is being called Windowgate in the city of Fall River. All right, next up, we've touched upon this before on the show, Will, the efforts by the city to create a rebranding and a marketing campaign to promote the city of Fall River. That step moved forward this week with the announcement of a firm that was hired to lead that effort. Fill us in on that.
Yeah, so on Monday, Mayor Correa introduced two people in the firm that will sort of be leading the rebranding effort. They will be working with a local committee of business owners that will sort of help to steer the entities that have been contracted by the city towards what the city may be looking for to offer some local input on this process as well. So they are underway. They should be meeting fairly regularly, it sounds like, with the goal of issuing a report by the end of this year on their recommendations for Brandon Fall River.
Yeah, it's a really short time frame to come up with, I don't know what kind of branding will be coming up, whether it'll be a slogan. We've talked about, that Rhode Island slogan that didn't go over too well this past year, but it's an effort for the city to improve its image, not only within its citizenry, but also outside. And I know the Herald News today had an editorial to that fact that it's not necessarily a bad thing that the city works at possibly rebranding itself.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly expect that a new motto or slogan will be pitched. The mayor did campaign on the idea of changing "We'll Try," which has been the city's slogan for quite some time now.
Right.
So I would expect at least something else will be developed in that sense. And it does seem like a pretty tight time frame, but at the same time, sometimes time is an enemy, and as you're creating things, you start to get too many ideas going forward.
Right.
So
it's good to have a deadline, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's also talk about possibly this effort leading to some sort of, again, citywide event for next year. Of course, many of us remember Fall River Celebrates America, and unfortunately its demise a few years ago. And I think the city's looking to re-energize the city through a citywide event, and that may be part of this as well. So we'll follow that as it moves forward. And the other topic, which we'll have more on FRC Media News in just a few moments, is the mayor going before the City Council this week, the Finance Committee, to talk about his plans for capital improvement projects in the city. And what's the status of that in terms of the City Council?
Yeah, so the City Council began hearing it on this past Monday night, at least from the Finance Committee standpoint. So this will now, I believe they have voted to move it to the full council for further discussion. Mm-hmm. So certainly there could be some action coming up on this later this month. I know the mayor was meeting with councilors individually to brief them on the project, take in any input they may have on items that might need to be included. So we'll see where this goes forward. Certainly there's been a lot of hesitancy in many ways to move the mayor's initiatives forward at the council level. So we'll see if this one is any different and has any better success than issues such as the trash trucks or other items lately.
Right. And I know the mayor is looking to do this in a cost-effective manner to not do any excessive bonding in terms that would allow for the need for ballot initiatives. Is that correct?
That is correct. They've got it broken down in an effort to try to, space out payments while also retaining bonding cap space in future years in case something else should come up unexpected. So certainly, there's a long-term and short-term plan in place with this to, at least from the mayor's perspective, that will offer financial flexibility going forward.
All right, well, sounds good. What's coming up in the next few days over at the Herald?
Well, this weekend we'll be taking a look at what's next for the proposed South Coast rail changes. Mm-hmm. Tonight, Thursday night, is actually the last of the public hearings that DOT and the MBTA is holding on the project. They'll be in Middleborough. So now, as these hearings wrap up, we'll be taking a look at what the next part of this process will be, and when we may know more on what the next decision could be with this project.
All right, well, sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll talk again next week.
All right, have a good weekend, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Behavior consultant. The May Institute, located in Fall River, is looking for a master's level clinician to provide behavioral consultation to families in the Fall River area. Behavioral consultants will conduct functional behavioral assessments and develop behavior support plans for families with children who have behavior problems. Job number 789-7267. Cook. Landmark Senior Living Communities is seeking a part-time cook for the traditional care building located in Fall River. The cook must take part in all phases of food preparation to be served to residents, staff, and guests. Job number 788-8223. Graphic artist. Advanced Career Services of Fall River is seeking a full-time graphic artist responsible for design, layout, copywriting, production, and trafficking of all publications, print materials, and signage. Must have knowledge of Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop applications and possess multitasking skills and good customer relations. Job number 788-2414. Quality Control Technician. Old Castle Precast, located in Rehoboth, Massachusetts, is looking for a quality control technician responsible for performing routine tests on raw materials, in-process components, and final product. Competent computer skills in Microsoft Office and experience with construction materials preferred. Job number 789-7602. Bank Teller. Santander Bank in Westport, Massachusetts is looking for a full-time experienced bank teller. Basic computer knowledge and Windows skills required, as well as cash handling and excellent customer service skills. Job number 789-7562. For more information on these or other positions, visit FRCMediaNews.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. We have an update now on a story we've been following here on FRC Media News. The Amazon Fulfillment Center located in Fall River's Biopark opened its doors this week. The company had initially hired 500 workers from the greater Fall River area after weeding out some 1,600 applications it had received by the end of August. Now, according to an Amazon official, the company has decided to hire yet another 500 employees. For more on this story, head over to our website, frcmedianews.org. Mayor Jaziel Correa discussed his multi-million-dollar capital improvement plan with the City Council this week. The idea is to repair infrastructure throughout Fall River, including the roof at Government Center, beautification of streetscapes, and upgrading of police and fire vehicles. City Councilor Stephen Long tells FRC Media News that he is 100% behind the plan.
It's very aggressive, and what I like about it, within this is our debt cap is not going up. It's going to be the same as it's been for the last probably 10 years, at about $10 million. So we won't see a need to fund it with general funds, which is very, very good. And it's really not going to affect the tax rate in any major way.
Now, is there a timeline? Is it going to be 1 year, 2 years, 5 years?
Well, the mayor at a press conference yesterday was saying that it's probably about 2 to 2.5 years that all of these projects will be completed.
Now, as a city councilor, and you've been around for a while, is that a realistic timetable?
I think it is. I really do think it is. I mean, it's really not about getting it done. It's about the pragmatic way of making sure that we're not doing as little disruption as we can in the city and the neighborhoods so that traffic will flow and that life can go on within those neighborhoods. It's not like we can come in and do these all at once. So it's a priority piece where we need to lay that out so that it becomes as easy to deal with as possible.
Councilor Long also believes the plan will prove beneficial to the city in terms of economic development.
I think in the long run, we're going to be doing a cityscape. We are going to transform this city and give people confidence that government can get things done in a expedient fashion and with being reasonable with the expenditures.
Do you feel as a city councilor that the new companies that were hired to market the city will actually be working somewhat in conjunction with this capital improvement plan? For example, storefronts having the same signage and, a certain symmetry to the city.
Yeah, there's a part of this within the Office of Economic Development and the Community Development Block Grant Program that will partner with different small businesses to do signage, to do canopies, that type of thing within their storefront, so they get a little bit of assistance in getting that done. I have the pleasure of serving as chair of the branding initiative. And I think that's one piece. This is the second piece, and the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. We look at the investment that's in the waterfront. We look at the investment in our schools. All the pieces are starting to come together, and it's time for the city to really stand up, not be afraid to face this future, and go forward confidently that we are a city on the move, and that we are a city that should be recognized by both our state and federal delegations, that we're not afraid to invest. We need their help as much as we can, but we also need to show that we're not afraid to step forward and put some of our capital on the table and be a full player and a full partner in this whole initiative.
A mayoral youth council has been resurrected by the Correa administration. The youth council, initially created to give young people in the city a voice in community affairs under then-Mayor Ed Lambert, had disbanded a few years ago. Now Mayor Correa has charged program coordinator Christian McCloskey with reviving the idea.
At last year's Youth Candidates Forum, hosted by the Fall River Youth Violence Prevention Task Force, we were seeking commitments from each of the candidates. Mayor Correa had made a commitment that he would resurrect or revive the Mayor's Youth Council. And so here we are looking to recruit high school students who are looking to potentially, or who are interested in learning more about the Mayor's Youth Council. We have an information session next Tuesday, September 27th from 5 to 6 here at Government Center in the Mayor's Conference Room, and looking to have the youth involved from the get-go in creating the Mayor's Youth Council and helping shape what it's going to be and what it's going to do.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. This is Rocco here at Forever Paws Animal Shelter. As you can see, he's a bigger guy, but he's a big teddy bear. He thinks he's a lap dog. He's so sweet and calm and gentle, does not jump, he just hangs out. Rocco is awesome with other dogs. We have not yet cat tested him, but we can. With children, we have him marked for 10 and above just because of his size.
This is Jingles. She's 6 years old. She was an owner surrender through animal control. She had a pretty hard time adjusting, but doing quite well. She doesn't like to be held very much, but she does love attention. And when she gets attention, she does well, as long as she's not picking her up and carrying her around. Our number is 508-677-9154. We're open every day but Wednesday, 11 to 4, and that includes Saturdays and Sundays.
Residents wanting to get involved in any number of activities this fall can do so through programs being offered at Greater Fall River Recreation, located at 45 Rock Street. Program Director Anne Marie Holly tells FRC Media News registration for these programs is now open.
We have some really exciting programs coming up this fall. We have anything from basketball to baton. We have dance programs with hip hop for adults and kids, ballet, jazz, judo. Oh God, we have so many. It's hard to remember all of them. We have our sailing program that's actually running all the way through the fall that we had going on in the summertime, so people can still be on the water all the way through November. And we have a new enrichment program called the Young Gentlemen's Club that's also coming up. So we have a lot of really exciting things. Most is happening inside this building. Some are happening at our partner locations, master builders, as well as some of the schools. So definitely be on the lookout.
For more information on these programs, call 508-679-0922. Fall River area residents interested in new ideas involving technology turned out for the first South Coast Mini Maker Fair at the YMCA on North Main Street last weekend. Here's more from FRC Media Assistant Director Steve Rice.
Makers from all disciplines gathered in Fall River for the inaugural South Coast Mini Maker Fair held on Sunday, September 18th.
I'm from Tachyon Electrics, which is an open source electric vehicle company I'm trying to start here in the South Coast. And this is my proof of concept. I take it to work every day. I get about 38 miles range. I can go 70 miles top speed.
Talbot Innovation School demonstrated a research project that will be sent to the International Space Station in June.
The experiment compares the tadpole development of regular white light versus UVB, 310 nanometer light. So if you look at this guy, we have regular LEDs, and then in the middle we have a 310 nanometer LED. And the aquarium goes just in front of that, and they get exposed to 8 hours a day of UVB. And we want to look at how the tadpoles develop in regular light versus UVB with no gravity.
These are underwater robotic vehicles, and these vehicles are about the most simple ROVs that you can get. They're PVC pipe, bilge pump motors and switches, and a 12-volt car battery. So students from 8 or 10 or 12 years old can build these vehicles themselves. There's a lot of different programs. The most basic one is Sea Perch, and these are used in underwater vehicle competitions such that students can compete to do tasks underwater. More advanced competitions that we run every year with MATE, ROV, M-A-T-E. The teams put together their own fundraising effort and design and engineering and document everything. And some of those vehicles might cost $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 to do really complicated tasks underwater.
We have the quadcopter that the BCC STEM Club built. So here we have a normal Vex Claw bot, and this is one of the cubes, and the objective is just to move the cube into a certain region of the field and to score more points.
I'm the Fire Department's EMS training officer, and we're just demonstrating some of the equipment that we have available in the ambulances. People seem to want to do a walkthrough. The kids love to play with the siren and lights.
For more information on upcoming Maker Fairs in the area, visit makerfair.com.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can catch FRC Media News Thursdays and Fridays at 6 p.m., but online 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.